So thanks, Chris, for having us down today. First of all, who are you?
That's a great question, Ashley. My name's Chris Sidey. I'm the owner of QTD Limited. We're timber specialists in thermowoods and Scottish grown timbers. To put some meat on that, the Scottish grown timbers are the larch, Douglas fir and the cedar. The thermowoods are the redwood pine, knotty pine, the clear grade New Zealand radiata pine, and then you get the hardwoods, which are the American ash, American tulip, African aes, African fraque, Movengi and African iroko. So there's quite a wide range of species, all with a different grain structure and different finishes that we apply.
So what would separate QTD as a business as opposed to others in the sector?
Really for us it's been about sustainability and using the best products, best finishes and the right timbers to put those on, because otherwise you could end up having rubbish timber and putting a decent product on it and it's just not going to last. So really our goal has been about working with bespoke, customised orders so that every project is unique and different to the next person, but using the right materials and obviously with all different grain structures and finishes that we can apply to the thermowood hardwoods and the softwoods. The benefit obviously with the softwoods, you've got a knotty version and a clear grade version, whereas all the hardwoods you've got they're all clear grade, and they all have their own unique characters, and that's really what we pride ourselves in working on, rather than just being one size fits all sort of thing. Everything is made to order, and we can mix and match some profiles along with different widths of boards as well.
So why do you choose Rubio?
I think really when we started out doing all the finishing, we hand painted some of the smaller projects, but it got to the point when we're doing high volume, we're doing things like timber and cladding specifically. We needed a product that didn't require two coats. And Rubio gave us that option of having a one coat solution so that we could run it through. We got a good level of UV resistance, a good coating on it, and it satisfied all the requirements from the client's perspective obviously and ours in terms of putting out a good quality product. And that really sort of set the tone really by working on something that gave us everything we needed as a one coat solution.
I mean, you guys do such a range of timbers, hardwood, softwood, but maybe explain a little bit more about the type of products that you're using.
I think really with the softwoods, traditional in this country, it's always worked on softwoods, all fixed length softwoods that come in from Scandinavian countries. They're chemically treated. Softwoods are far more porous. They also can degrade a lot quicker. Obviously the benefits we have of having them thermally modified means we can increase the durability, we have the stability, we're not using chemicals because it's a very high heat and steam process. The Scottish grown timbers, which are softwoods, the larch, Douglas fir and cedar, but they're quite dense and slow grown softwoods, so they don't need preservative treatment and they're good as external products, which is why we use them for cladding as well. Whereas the hardwoods are a lot denser, they've got a longer durability, we've still got obviously the stability with the thermal process, but you get a nice, they're all clear grade, so you get a nice grain structure with those, whereas obviously all the softwoods, with the exception of the radiata pine softwood, which is clear grade, all the softwoods will have a knot content in them. So it's down to whether the customer is happy with knot content or whether they want a clear grade, they want different types of finishes. So that's why everything is really bespoke, and we talk that through with the customer on the project.
Do you have a particular favourite?
My personal favourite would be the ash. It's the thermo ash. We use a crown grain, so you get a nice circular grain structure rather than the flat grain that you can get with European ash. European ash is slightly cheaper, but for us it's not about the price, it's about a high quality product. And also being an American ash, it's growing in a really cold, ideal climate to get a really good quality timber, whereas Europe is a more of a mild, wetter climate, so you don't get quite the same quality. Although it's thermally modified, there are still long-term issues with that. So we focus on the American ash.
Amazing. I know you've done a really exciting project with Duragrit Saddle Black. Tell us a little bit more about that.
That project was a big T-section barn that we had in Oxford. It was one of the first projects in this country that required timber to go across the roof as well as the vertical elevations. And so that was made up really with a powder coated aluminium sheet as a roof with like a W section profile. And that was battened out across the top of those high points. And then the thermo ash, we used our thermochar branded heavy charred ash, two different widths of product, and that ran from the ridge down to the guttering. And then we kept the same thickness or same width of board down for the vertical elevations, and then they were all alternated. And the other nice thing about that project was the fact that the vertical elevations carried on up past the guttering, so that you didn't actually see any guttering in the project at all. So you had a nice, neat, clean line. And then any water would just drip through the boards. We did them with our Invisifix clip, which has got a gap through it, so the water would drip through the boards onto the metal sheeting as it were, and then run down into the guttering, and you don't see any guttering, so it's all invisible. The big project took a long time to go through it, but the client was really over the moon with it, and it's
really impressive.
Looks really good.
Sounds good.